side, which you're coming to a translation at the end of this segment, which is really, really involved in what you explain thoroughly in your book. And people who can't accept the scientific side might be open to the religious, spiritual side. The people that can't accept your translation religiously might be able to accept the geological side. Do you see what I'm saying?
Or the historical evidences.
Yes.
We have very interesting historical accounts, scientific evidence, and scriptural support that supports the idea that the Earth is hollow, including the moon, the sun. I even calculated there's a asteroid out there that has a moon that orbits it called Ohania. And with an orbiting moon, you can calculate the surface gravity of that moon, and from the surface gravity, you can calculate using the diameter, a measured diameter of the asteroid. You can calculate the density of the asteroid, and it comes out to be water. But you can see it through the telescope that it's not water; it's a rock. So the only conclusion has to be then that it's hollow because it has such a low density.
I want to talk about two other things with you. One is the diaries of Admiral Byrd's expedition. Is there a diary that exists, or is it completely out of commission?
The Admiral Byrd diary that we have, the source of it is a Hollow Earth researcher in Missouri that I actually received my first copy from Bruce Walton of Provo, Utah, Hollow Earth researcher, when he was attending Brigham Young University. Back when I was writing my ebook in the 80s, he gave me a copy of Admiral Byrd diary that came from this, I can't hardly pronounce his name, from this Hollow Earth researcher in Missouri that is quite interesting. We don't know where he got it, or if he made it up, or if he just made it up from what he had heard, or what. But it is confirmed by the separate story that I received from my friend John Gagne up in Alaska, that close friend of Admiral Byrd. Sylvia Darvell was her name. She was involved in Alaskan politics from way back, was a close friend of Admiral Byrd, and then claimed that he told my friend John Gagne that Admiral Byrd had confided in her after his Arctic flight of 1947 into the Arctic, what had happened to him. So we have two separate accounts, one that confirm it. We also found another one recently, a book called Genesis for a New Age. It's actually a copyrighted work that has not been published, but somebody sent me a manuscript of it. I don't know where they got it, but it is also being sold by One Light online, and it's. I looked it up in the Copyright Office, and it exists there, and it's a very interesting read because he has accounts of Admiral Byrd's flights through both the North and South Pole openings into the Hollow Earth.
But is that the one that was questioned by one of the people who is on your expedition or is on Brooke Agnew's expedition? Somebody questioned one of the accounts, correct?
One of our expedition members, he offered to be the overflight coordinator after Steve Curry died. I would get emails from people and contacts, and I would send him out investigating because he had more money than I did to do those kinds of things. He has a home business. One of those persons that he went to visit was Hank Crossman. He was living at that time over in Los Angeles. And Hank Crossman has done interviews with other Hollow Earth researchers, and he confessed everything to our expedition member. He told us that he had learned from the Hopi Indians that there's an opening in the Grand Canyon, and it goes to the Hollow Earth through this opening. They call it Sipapoo or something like that. and he wanted to know if they would let him go. And so he finally they told him that you will meet somebody at the university, because he was attending Northern Arizona University in Flagstaff at the time. And soon after he started the semester, this boy walked up to him and struck up a conversation that became quite good friends. And he found out that he was the great-grandson of the lost Dutchman of the Superstition gold mine fame legend. And he one day just invited him. He said, "Would you like to go to the Hollow Earth?" And he said, "Sure would." And so he took him up on the rim, someplace on the Grand Canyon. Didn't say exactly where, because they blindfolded him. He blindfolded him, and they rode on these mules or donkeys down into the canyon for hours and hours and hours. And finally he says, "Take off your blindfold." And they stood up against the canyon wall. He says, "Stick your hand against the canyon wall." And he stuck his hand, and it went right into the wall. And surprised, and the boy laughed, and he says, "It's a holographic image that we put over the cavern entrance."
Fascinating. Fascinating.
You can read about this holographic technology in this book by Larry Foreman on my website, Passport to Eternity. They use this. They spray iodine crystals out over an area, and they project a holographic image on it that appears whatever they project onto it. In this case, it was the side of the canyon. It looked just like the canyon wall. So all they did was they just walked through this holographic image through into the cavern. They came. It was all lit up with electricity. They got in some kind of conveyor contraption and went down into the earth, clear to the inner surface. It was sort of like an elevator, and they got out in this room near the inner surface, and there was a whole bunch of doors. And he went up this one door and put his hand up, and it opened up for him. And he asked him what all the other doors were, and he said, "Well, if anybody gets to this point, they may go through the wrong door." And he didn't tell him what would happen to him in the other doors, but there's only one door that would lead to the surface. And
fascinating.
So they got to the surface. They got on this vehicle that was anti-gravity. It was raised up off the ground and zipped off to the city. There's a city in the inner earth, according to Hank Crossman, of Hopi Indians that live inside the earth. And he said he fell in love with one of the girls there, and wanted to marry her. And
fascinating.
They married, and but he wanted to come back to the service to get his personal belongings, and his friend told him, "Okay, I'll take you back to the service, and then you just come down to this area of the Grand Canyon and yell out my name, and I'll come get you." Which he did, and the guy never came and got him. So he was telling my friend, our expedition, our flight coordinator, this story, and tears started coming out of his eyes, and he was 70 years old, that he wasn't ever able to go back and marry his love.
Wow.
He later moved to the Philippines, and something happened to him over there. He got sick and died just in January of this year.
What's the name of his book?
He didn't actually do a book. I got on my website an interview that was done by one of the Hollow Earth researchers, a guy down in Florida.
But there was a book you just recently mentioned.
About?
Now I forgot.
Hank Crossman did write a book. He's got a manuscript, and one of his wives has it, and we haven't been able to get it from him yet. We've been trying to get it so we could get it published.
That would be awesome. One last thing before we complete the first interview with you. Very interesting. What about gravity? Apparently, our notion of gravity, the origin, cause, and control of gravity is different. What is this?
Well, I actually